You looking for a way to build your business while the coronavirus is still going on? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking to a podcaster who knows all about this, who has interviewed over 50 different online entrepreneurs and shows how to convert a brick and mortar business to an online business. This is Mad Talk. What is up, guys? Antoine here, once again with the Mad Talk interview series, this interview show that we do here. And today I have a good friend of the show, Gayle. How you doing today, Gayle?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here, Antoine.
Not a problem, not a problem. And it's great having you on the show as well. It's a pleasure. Guys, definitely, if you want to be updated on any new interviews that we have coming out, press that notification bell and subscribe to the channel now. So, Gayle, why don't basically, I really just scratched the bare minimum surface of what it is that you do and the impact that you have. So, Gayle, can you can you tell us a little bit about your backstory? Introduce yourself to the crowd.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for allowing me to do that.
No problem.
My name is Gayle Nicholson. I am the host of what's now called the Summer Spotlight. And what I do is I interview online entrepreneurs and give them not only exposure, but offer them opportunities to repurpose the content of the interview after the interview for continued marketing efforts.
Hmm.
So I was actually, I've been a counselor, a coach, if you will, for a number of years and was just getting ready to launch my new program when the president called quarantine and essentially locked down the country. And on that
Coincidentally, on my
day,
birthday.
was it?
Yeah, March
Oh,
13th is my birthday.
unhappy birthday. Happier birthdays to come, I hope. That's awesome.
All right.
So on that day, my husband came in from the garage and he's like, "Hon, they just canceled spring training." And I went, "Oh my God." Because now I get it. It doesn't normally make all that much difference to people, even baseball fans, spring training, they don't even keep track of those, right?
No.
Games. But we lived in the midst of 6 spring training facilities and we Airbnb'd half of our house.
Whoa.
So, yeah. And the month of March alone covered my bills twice over. So we just
Hmm.
watched. I mean, you might as well set a stack of money on the table and lit it on fire.
Yeah, because don't you the refunds that you had to do and then like the processing fees was even more too. So you're paying more than what you got in the first place.
Well, no, I'm receiving,
Oh
right?
yeah.
That's income to me, right?
Hmm.
So eventually Airbnb did come back and offer, like 10% of what we would have received, which is better than a kick in the teeth. But
Hmm.
short notice like that's like getting fired with no severance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you're all of a sudden going, where are my groceries at, right?
Hmm.
So I had this like moment where my head just kind of exploded. First it was me, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for the end of the month? Then it was my daughter and my niece. Oh my gosh, they're waitresses. So nobody's going to be going to the restaurants. Oh my gosh, the hotels. Oh my gosh, everything around my community is going to crash out because we lost 2 weeks of spring training. So the last image that I had in my mind was the lemmings going off the cliff into the ocean. You've seen that picture,
Yes,
and they
yes.
don't know what's in front of them. They don't know what's in store. They just know they're panicked and they're running because everybody else beside them is panicked and they're running and whatever, right?
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, well, you know what? How can I help? Because when crises happen, I go into mommy duck mode, where's my peeps? Get under my wings. We're going to
Hmm.
handle this together, right? We're going to survive this together. So I thought, you know what? I do have some interviewing skills. I got a journalism degree. Let's create a space where a little bit of IT geek blood in me too. Yep,
Yes.
I do. So I created this space for my friends who are online entrepreneurs to describe who they are and what they do and how they can help other people make it through all that chaos and confusion that was happening at the beginning of the quarantine. So on the 16th, I started sliding into people's DMs and going, can I interview you? By the 23rd, we had a full-blown show going 5 days a week for 10 weeks in a row before I finally took a break. We also threw in there 2 Corona Spotlight at nights where we signed up Vegas musicians that didn't have an audience to play to, and we gave them the space and gave them a virtual tip jar and let them go nuts for an hour.
Wow. That's
And
incredible.
what's coming out of this is, at the very least, people who are home from their brick and mortar jobs are getting half an hour of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
At most, well, the sky's the limit, really. But what seems to commonly come out of it the most is that people are getting an idea of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to have a brick and mortar job to go back to, but here's this really cool person that knows about podcasting. And here's this really cool person that knows about funnels. And here's this really cool person that knows about this. And all of these little pieces together, I now have a breadcrumb trail to follow on who can teach me how to do business in the online space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after the interview is over, now mind you, it is delivered to 3 destinations live streamed: my personal Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and my personal website, GayleNicholson.com. And yes, please subscribe, because we've got all the episodes of the Corona Spotlight on there and all the new episodes of the Summer Spotlight as well. So it goes out to those 3 spaces. And then afterwards, I send it out to my Facebook business page. I upload it to YouTube. I set it out on a Premiere with keywords. And then I send it out to my Twitter, my LinkedIn, and then my personal Facebook page again. Now, when the recording is sent to my personal Facebook page, that gets tagged with the client, the guest, any description, any contact information, and the video right there in one post that they can share anywhere around the web that they want to. I also supply them with a link to where the video is parked on YouTube and the embed code, so they can pull that and use it in any email marketing that they may do. And all of that is free. Absolutely free to anybody who comes on my show. You can run off into the mountains with that link, and I promise I will never be outside your window going, I want my $2. Never, ever. All right.
I hope
now,
not.
Right. Then in addition to that, though, we do offer opportunities to repurpose that. Like, we can cut that 30-minute video down into a 60-second hello infomercial about the guest. Who are they? What do they do? What do they, how can they help, and how to contact them?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
and that's just the beginning of it, right? Then we can throw that transcript into an ebook and create a lead magnet that can be either a, hi, this is who I am, what I do, or here's the top 10 steps to do whatever it is that you want to do in life, whatever format we do the interview in, the ebook is in as well. And then I also give you a 6-month membership to Abigail Sinclair's Human Connection Network directory that already has over 100 other media hosts like you and me that are looking for guests like ours, right? So that becomes like a training wheels package for people brand new to the internet, brand new to content marketing, that'll give them some momentum to build upon as we open up from quarantine and their business gets some legs under it. So that's essentially what I've been doing during quarantine vacation. How about you?
Oh no, that's incredible. That it's really one of these missions that I think people like hold for granted. They don't understand like that whole conversation, just having conversations with other entrepreneurs, having conversations with people who have done it before you is that to me is so much more fruitful than any course that you might get or something like that, because you're talking from experience. A course can teach you, like there's a million different courses. It's kind of like if you were weight training. They say this a lot, and I remember Elliot Hulse, one of my favorite YouTubers that talk about like bodybuilding and weight training and everything like that. He was saying this when the person said, hey, I want to know what's the perfect workout for I'm about to go back to school. He said, listen, there's over 100 different workouts.
Right?
Pick one, stick to it for a year. That's the best workout. Any workout that you can stick to for a year, that's the best workout. Same thing with the best diet. Any diet that you can stick to and you can have in your life, that's the best diet. Since you have made courses in the past and you've worked with people who have made courses, what would you suggest to someone about that? Like they see this nice shiny course and they're so thinking, hey, I need to buy that to be
Hmm.
successful. What advice would you give that person at that point in time?
To be quite honest, I'm not a huge fan of courses really because of the fact that,
Okay.
um, now don't get me wrong, there's an awful lot of really good information that goes into courses. But we're talking about human nature here. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're one of these people that on the receiving end of a course, you're reading through it and you're real intellectual and in your mind and you get it, well, you just wasted your money. Because the fact of the matter is, the value of a course is in inspiring you to take action to produce something else, whether it's a change in your life, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whatever, right? The value in a course is getting you to do something different, not just learn something different. So you
Exactly.
really got to take a look at when you want to buy a course, are you willing to commit to yourself before you lay the money out to do the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're just doing it to read, go binge Netflix. It's going to do you as much good.
Or go
Watching a
watch
few
a bunch of YouTube
documentaries.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or go
Yeah.
watch
Watch some
YouTube
YouTube
videos.
videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. But if you really want, if this is a piece that you go, okay, I really like, this is a really cool thing that I'm going to need in order to produce what I need to produce, and I'm willing to do the actions that it takes to actually do it, then yeah, dive in. It's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just looking at it like, oh, that's really, really cool, that's a red flag. That's a distraction from what's actually going to produce anything. And it's no good for you. So why throw money at it?
What would you say to upcoming like podcaster, someone who wants to build their own show, someone who wants to just get out there and just talk to people? What would you say is your like top five? What would you say is your top five tips for that person? Even just taking your journalism knowledge. Like,
Okay.
what would you say about that?
All right. So my number one top tip is to manage your lighting. Now, your lighting isn't too bad, but I'll give
Mhm.
you, if you don't mind, I'll let you know. You're a little bit milky, right?
Okay.
You've never heard that said to you before in your life, but you're a little
Not
bit milky.
once. Not once. Maybe twice, but not once. How about this? How's this? Hold up. Let me see. Is that better?
A little bit. Now I'm looking up your nose, but we're okay. No, no. See, and that goes into the second tip. So first of
Mhm.
all, milkiness happens when you've got rays of light passing between you and your computer screen, and the
Ooh.
light lights up the dust particles in the air that are so little we don't
Ooh.
notice that they're there,
Ooh, I didn't know
right?
that. She
So you
just
got like,
taught.
yeah, see, this is what I do.
Mhm.
So yeah, you don't want that light to come in from the side and light you up in between, create a barrier between the people looking at you and what they can see.
Mhm.
So yeah, you want to keep any light coming in from the side to a minimum. You're really well lit right now because you've got just as much light in front of your face as you do behind you. A lot of times I see people that are in a room like you're in, where they've got a
Mhm.
single light up top, and you remember talking ghost stories, and you put the flashlight underneath your chin and it blows out the rest of your face. Well, most
Mhm.
people are doing that from the top down, and their nose is just, yeah.
See, now you got me fixing my lighting. Hold on. Hold on. This is the first time on Mad Talk when I'm doing this, so this is interesting. Keep it. This is
Okay.
interesting.
All
I
right,
might
good.
even do this. I'm turning on the lamp too. Hold up. See, that's a little
I
better,
see.
right?
Yeah, that is a little better. And
Okay,
what
cool.
one of the things that you'll notice too is, okay, like right now I've got these white lights. I've got halogen lights. Now, I
Mhm.
lucked out when I moved into this house because this particular room was already made for the office, and it has 4 halogen lights in each corner. So no matter where I stand in this room, I'm spotlighted from all sides, right? I recommend anybody building a house to do that. That is amazing, right?
Power tip, guys. If you're buying a house, there you go. See, I'm just going to
Yep.
fix it a little bit more. Hold up. Let me get this. We
See?
got it now.
There
We
you
got
go.
it
You're
now.
looking great now.
Thank
Looking
you.
great. Get that clutter out of there. Yeah. My third tip is whatever it is that you do, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know it. You learned it. Now own it. Right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You are the expert. You are on their show because you have knowledge that they want their audience to have. So
Don't
be
be afraid
confident.
to give it. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're there for a purpose, deliver on your purpose. Right? This is not about you getting more business. This is about you being of service to your community. Talk like it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, where did I leave off? Tip
Going
number
forward.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Be comfortable. If you are wearing a low-cut blouse because you think it's pretty, but you're not comfortable and you end up fidgeting and sitting like this, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, be like doing this every 5 seconds.
Yeah, be like, yeah, fidgety and stuff. No.
Mm-hmm. And what's number 5?
Oh, God. Number 5 is have fun. I mean, anybody who's watching this right now is probably laughing at us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to make their day better. You know,
Yes.
and it's made my day better talking to you. I hope that it's made your day better talking to me just because we're able to
playing.
laugh.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Like, get out of here, lady. But you know what? Seriously, though, have fun. It doesn't have to. Nobody wants to watch a talking head that just goes like this and, oh, my God, can I just tell you about what I have for sale today?
Yes, just spitting out rhetoric over and over and over and over. We get it. You're smart. We get it. You don't have to
Right?
do all that. Just give us real life answers, you know. And then you got some that get too wrapped up in their own facades on like little slogans and words that they use. So you've seen that. We've probably had some interviews that the wink, wink, hint, hint.
Well, I'll throw in a bonus tip for you. You know,
Okay.
we know that there are things that as a guest you want to make sure that you say, but I promise you the interview will go so much better and you will connect so much better with your audience if you get the hell out of your head and just have a conversation. Make sense?
Exactly. And that's the reason why I don't like to, and I see a lot of interviewers like to set up questions and stuff like that. I don't like to set up questions because you lead into just a robotic, like, keep doing like this 5 hours interview. You know, that's one of my biggest tips to anybody that wants to start doing interviews, that wants to, you know, and now I'm talking from like the interviewer side instead of the interviewee, because I know before we was talking about the interviewee, the interviewer side. Just let people know that from from the start, saying, hey, this is going to be like a conversation. Some people don't like that. If they don't come up with like maybe 5 to 8 questions, because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of times when you have those questions, you're gonna deviate from them anyway, which has happened to me multiple times with some people. Again, it's one of these things of just being comfortable with talking to people and just going through that. Talking more about just interviews and everything like that. What would you say is the most, like, because you've interviewed a bunch of entrepreneurs, you interviewed a bunch of business owners. What is your biggest moment from an interview that like you said, hey, this is something that's gonna change me. This is something that's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Because it really is. I don't know if there was any, you know, like voice of God moment where the heavens open up and, you know, the angels sang or anything like that. But I'd have to say it was probably into, well, the first one happened a couple of weeks into it when it was like people started sharing the show and people started like out of the blue posting something that was complimenting me or celebrating being on the show, and it's like, wow, that's a huge thing for me, that it was received and it was shared, and we could really be doing something with this. And then like my coach would pop into my DMs out of the blue and go, "You don't realize you're sitting on gold."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'll believe you. I'm just having fun. I'm just biding my time, So there was that. And then there was kind of a semi-celebrity that
Mhm.
I was like in a bind, and I reached out to him and I'm like, "Hey, can I interview you about this thing that happened, and I need you tomorrow?" And he's like, "Yeah, sounds like fun." And I was just like, cool.
That's normally how it happens. That's normally how it happens.
Yeah.
People are surprised by some of the people that I've had on the show. I've had people who have millions upon millions of views on YouTube on Mad Talk.
That's phenomenal.
I've interviewed people with big businesses. I'm even interviewing pretty soon the managing director of Universal Music Group. So definitely, guys, be on the lookout for that. Yeah.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah. So he's another one who I met him on Facebook and just started a conversation. And we've been, cool ever since. And we just talk back and forth. And I said, "Hey, could I get you in an interview?" And he said, "Cool." So, again, it's one of these things where it's like it's not as hard as people try to make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not going to lie and say that I don't have certain talents that are different than other people. It's easy for me to talk to people. That's never
Right.
been a hard
Right.
thing for me to do. I'm pretty charismatic for the most part. I don't, you know, have these moments where I'm like completely boring or completely stammering over my words and cannot talk to people. I know that. I get that. But also, I had to learn through doing multiple interviews, through doing everything like that, how to conduct the interview, how to ask a proper question, how to do all those certain things. So, and I'm
And
not trying to
keep
make the interview
rapport.
about me, of
No,
course.
no,
I'm not.
no. But you're
Mhm.
absolutely correct. I mean, there's this, and here's the charismatic part that not necessarily everybody has,
Mhm.
but you do definitely have, and that is just the ability for other people to feel comfortable in your presence. As an interviewer,
Mhm.
it's our responsibility to make sure that the other person feels comfortable so that we can get the best performance out of them.
Mhm.
And I know that you like the structure of pretty much no questions, let's just talk, right?
Yes.
Well, in the format that I do, because we're looking at repurposing the content afterwards for a
Mhm.
specific reason,
Yeah.
what I end up doing with my clients, and what other interviewers might want to consider as well, is that I ask them essentially one question: what questions would you like me to ask you, so that your perfect client hears the words they need to hear to know you're the one to work with? And then they
Ooh.
give me 5 questions to ask them that will
Mhm.
answer that question, and boom, my work here is done. They've got their informational interview, they've got their hello framework, they've got their
Oh,
ebook
see,
framework.
now you got me. Okay,
Done.
let me write this down. Hold on, I got. So now that we talked about that, one of my big things that we have ran into, and it's one of my personal questions, is how to better market your interviews. When you're doing an interview, when you're an interviewer, like an interview show, or even an interviewee, how do you go about marketing those? So let's take the interviewer first, and then we can go to the interviewee.
Okay. So as far, I got to be honest, I am probably the world's biggest failure on marketing myself. I am. I do what's called really vague content marketing.
You send
Where
out
honestly,
vignettes, don't you? You send out a lot of vignettes. You're
yeah, I
like,
send
oh,
out a lot
yeah.
of here's a great meme, and here's like my weird twisted take on it. If you're my tribe, hit yes. you know um I do put out a Facebook event with the logo for the show, and my logo has a picture of myself and my guest in it. So that goes out about 24 hours in advance of the show. I share it again about an hour before the show as a reminder. And honestly, that's probably the extent of the pre-show marketing that I do. Now, my show shows up on my Facebook Live every day for at least a half an hour. So as people are scrolling through, they're seeing it. Whether they're stopping and listening is another matter, but they're at least seeing my branding.
Sure. Yes.
Right? They're seeing my branding. And every time somebody comments on it, it goes to the top of the feed, and they're going to see it again, right? During that time period. And then afterwards, because it gets shared twice to my personal Facebook page and then once to all of my other social media, people are seeing it every day after the show. Now, in addition to that, I tag my guest on the event, and I send them the logo and I send them the tag in Messenger for them to share out as well at will. So they may share it, they may tag their friends on it. That also goes out into their realm. And then I do coach my guests to reach out. Rob Garcia calls them street teams. Now, you might remember back in the 90s when rap music was coming up big. What would happen back in Detroit, where I was from, is that the rappers would get their little brothers and sisters and hand them a stack of 1,000 flyers, black and white flyers that they had printed up at the Kinko's. And a staple gun, and they'd send them out to go and staple these flyers on every telephone pole, right? That's a street team. Okay.
You see that on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Did it? Really?
I think I could be wrong.
No. I come from Eminem's old neighborhood.
Okay,
this
so
is real. This
okay.
is trust me.
So you definitely saw it.
Yes, I saw it. And you see the remnants of the after the show. Anyway, yeah. So that's a street team. So how will you make that work on Facebook is, say you're my guest, I tell you, reach out to the people who love you and support what you're doing, and ask them, I'm going to be on Gayle's show at such and such a time on such and such a date. When it goes live, will you start a watch party for me? Now, they can leave the watch party after they start it, and it's still showing for all of their friends, and they can go on and wash the dog, feed the baby, I don't care, right? But there's 6 more, or as many as you can reach out to, portals to see your show, right? Among your friends, and your clients are among their friends.
And their clients.
Your tribe is their tribe. Right?
Yes.
Now, mine are just the cherry on top of the sundae, right? They're possibly far removed from you, like relatedly, maybe not necessarily in the same mindset of the clients that you want, but the people that hang around you are more of a direct connection. So sending out that street team gets more eyeballs on the actual live. And then, when we share it out again, I love it when my clients go, here's this, and they tag other people on it. Because when you tag people, it's going to show up in their thing. If not, you're at the mercy of the Facebook algorithms, whether this algorithm thinks that friend is going to like what you're offering.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we don't share everything about ourselves online. So we're missing out on things that we might actually find new and exciting and engaging at the effect of what the algorithm decided we wanted yesterday.
Exactly.
So definitely tag your people.
You kind of just combine both questions together. You kind of just combined interviewers and interviewees together and just came up with the answer. And definitely whenever you interview someone are getting interviewed, definitely tell them vice versa, whatever. Tell them to tell their audience about it. Tell them to promote it as well, because you can't get mad if your interview isn't getting views and you're not sharing it. Exactly. You know what I mean? So definitely get them to share it and be like, hey, share this with your people, share it on Instagram, everything like that, and just try to get your numbers up and everything for that.
Yeah.
So, Gail, this is one of my favorite parts of the interview. We do a 2-minute pitch segment. One day we're gonna come up with a graphic for that, the 2-minute pitch segment. Just gonna have it like blast
Okay.
off and everything like that, in editing, in post. It's gonna be cute. Um, the 2-minute pitch segment is where I give you 2 minutes and you pitch to our audience. What is it that you do to provide your audience with value? What do you do for your community to provide them with value? You can talk about your business, talk about any interviews that are coming up, anything like that, and you just have 2 minutes on the clock to do it. So, that being said, let me whip out my handy dandy timer.
Awesome.
All right. Starting now.
Okay. So I think I already began during my introduction that I talked to you a little bit about the value that I provide to clients, to guests that actually come on the show. We do the interview. The interview goes out to the world live, live on 3 formats, recorded on 4 more, plus there may be a new one in the near future. And then we take that interview and we distill it down to the most important parts. Who are you? What do you do? How do you help people? And how can people reach out to you? And that becomes your video calling card. Now that can go on your featured video on your Facebook business page, or did you know that on Facebook business pages, the banner area also will accommodate video now? You just have to have the right dimensions, and we can deliver in those dimensions.
You're dropping
as well.
gems in her pitch, guys. It's interesting.
See, I am all about changing people's mindset from appearing on a podcast from hit it and quit it dating to let's make a family. Because the fact of the matter is, when you repurpose that content, you know the old rule, it takes 7 contacts to make an impression and 21 to make a habit, right? So if you treat a podcast like a hit it and quit it date, right? Your name will be forgotten by the next day. You make 7 impressions, 3 live, 4 more recorded, and then you go out there and you continue sharing out these distilled little pieces. There's your 21 days to make a habit, and somebody's habit is going to be you. Do I still have time left? We could talk about sponsorship opportunities.
7 seconds.
Sponsorship opportunities are amazing. You'll have to message me if you want to know more about. Am I good or what?
Hey, you got
Table
it down.
Topics champion of Toastmasters. 2 minutes is my frame.
Okay, dang it. I'm just trying to catch y'all because, I want y'all to be on y'all toes. I want y'all to be ready.
There
all times. Always be ready.
Call me Twinkle Toes.
And speaking of hitting the quit it, I told my staff, told them I'll be perfect. We ain't gonna do it anyway. So guys, it was so great having Gayle here today. It was so wonderful. And again, Gayle, for all your information, we're gonna get it from you, but we're gonna put it all in the description box below. And for the question of the day, Gayle, what is your question of the day for our audience?
Question of the day is, what can you do to be a contribution to the people that you love and the life that surrounds you?
What can you do? Go do it. Comment in the comment section below. Again, I'm Antoine. This is Gayle, and this was such a great pleasure having you guys all watch Mad Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share on all of your social medias, especially if you found value in this interview, and we'll catch you in the next one.